you see how I've trimmed my beard? Check me out.
Oh, yeah.
I heard Eric admiring your beard when it was bushy.
Yeah, that was the end of it. I was like, gotta take it off.
Did you did I didn't hear you at all when he was interviewing the kids? Was that because they were afraid of your beard?
That was the first thing that we did, and we were still like getting set up and getting our seating sorted out. But the other thing was Eric is such a natural, and
yeah,
he's just always so friendly and stuff, straight up. And like it was like a Saturday morning, and I hadn't been drinking or anything the evening before, so he was taking the lead, and I was just the guy laughing in the background like an American radio show.
Welcome to episode 27 of Rather Be Playing, the podcast where we talk about how we'd rather be playing games than
forgetting our own birthday.
I'm Josh.
I'm Elliot.
And I'm Steve-O.
Oh,
and
I know.
We forgot our birthday, guys.
Oh, God. Well, it was our first birthday.
It was our first birthday, our most important one. We are actually the first and only podcast to make this milestone, so I don't know.
There's never been a podcast about gaming that has lasted a year.
I know, it's insane.
Yeah,
but our last episode was released exactly 1 year after our first episode.
Yeah.
So
we've had exactly 26 episodes. Now it's 27, but
no,
yeah, last episode
29. Two specials.
We had two specials.
No, it was still 26. Hang on.
We had two specials.
Elliot.
No, I worked this out.
Never learn.
The specials weren't numbered.
We numbered the numbered. The specials weren't numbered. We probably should have numbered the specials too, but
but we had extra episodes. We had a few stretches of like 3 in a row and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
so that's why we still ended on that year, even though we had 2 extra.
Well, yes,
okay.
we did release something every 2 weeks, but we had 2 more that were sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Rather Be Playing,
guys,
1 year.
Can you believe it?
We did it! Congratulations, guys.
When we started on this journey a year ago, and we were just 3 young guys without a care in the world, did we know we'd make it this far?
So we're done now, right? This is it?
This is also our swan song.
Final episode.
Goodbye, everyone. Yeah, happy belated. This is the happy belated episode because we can't remember shit. So as much time as we spend trying to find things to talk about, that was a big one.
Can't see the forest for the trees.
Exactly.
Well, I know a good way to celebrate our birthday.
Games?
With some games. So
Super Nintendo games. No
Super
less.
Nintendo games. Guys, I found the perfect game. I've been playing someone released a Link to the Past / Super Metroid randomizer, which basically takes all the items from Link to the Past and Super Metroid and randomizes their locations across both games.
Oh, so you can pick up a Super Metroid weapon in Link to the Past?
Yes, and vice versa.
What
so
the hell?
weird.
So up till now, there have been Link to the Past randomizers, and I've played those before, and there's also Super Metroid randomizers. But now someone has basically said, okay, well, if you go into the fortune teller's house in Link to the Past, or if you go into this one door in Criteria or other places, you'll get transported into the other game. And so,
oh my God. So when you get transported in the other game, are you literally playing the other game?
Yes.
Like you go from top down to side view.
Yeah, it just literally just switches the game. And it kind of works in the same way, almost like a fast travel too. Because so Metroid does not have fast travel. Link to the Past has the flute. But I'm in Criteria in Metroid, and I open the door, I pop out out of the fortune teller house in front of Link's house in the light world. But if I then take the flute and go up to Death Mountain. If I go in one of the caves there, I'll pop out in Norfair in Super Metroid.
Whoa.
So it actually adds a little bit more functionality because you don't have to run around the entire Metroid map all the time. You can actually use that as like a fast travel thing.
Oh,
So
nice.
what does this mean to your theory that Metroid is just a side view of Zelda, and Zelda's a top-down Metroid?
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of confirms it perfectly that they mesh so well together.
But yeah, I mean, it's the same sort of thing. I mean, so the way it's randomized is that in the beginning of the game, in the beginning of Metroid, there's really only one item you can get with all the stuff you have, which is nothing. So, and it would be what is normally the morph ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's randomized now, so you might not get the morph ball. So you got to run back to Criteria and jump into Zelda. And in Zelda, you start off with nothing, not even the sword. And so you have to, I did the math, and it's like, I think there's like 25, 26 chests that you can generally open without doing a whole lot. Like you might need rupees or something, but there's 26 potential items you can get in the beginning of Zelda, which may either open up Zelda more or it may open up Metroid more. And so I've played this randomizer now twice, and I'm on my third playthrough right now just because I'm so addicted.
You finished? You've gone to the end?
Oh yeah, I finished it twice so far. Yeah.
So who's the last boss? Is it Ganon or Ridley?
So the goal is you have to beat both Mother Brain and Ganon.
Oh, Mother Brain, right?
So what happens is usually you'll finish Metroid first. I haven't done it the other way around, but once you beat Metroid, there's typically an escape sequence. But what it does is it kills the escape sequence. I mean, you still go through that escape area, but there's no timer. You're still able to explore. So you basically run back to the Criteria warp point over to Zelda, and then you go fight Ganon.
So is this actually like coded for? Because you said it's randomized, so every time you play it, it's going to be different. But in terms of how the two games connect, is that been planned out so that it works, or is it like still random?
So far in every playthrough, the warp points in between the two games are static. There's like the fortune teller in front of Link's house and the fortune teller over by Kakariko Village take you to Criteria. The Death Mountain takes you to Norfair. There's the cave over where the ice rod is, but in the Dark World that takes you to Meridia. And there's another cave, and I can't remember where it was, but it takes you to like Lower Norfair.
I love how you know all of these just off the top of your head, Josh. This is just mind-blowing to me. I remember how much I struggled through both of these games, particularly swapping between the Light and Dark World in Link and Super Metroid, just random stuff that I didn't realize I had to do to get to another area. But the fact
go ahead.
that you know these things just by heart is mind-blowing.
Link to the Past is a game that's really close to my heart. It's my favorite Zelda game, even more than like Breath of the Wild and Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time, all that.
How many times would you say you've played it? Like vanilla or randomized start to end?
Oh, God. I don't know. Maybe like 20, 25, 30.
Jeez, like man.
It's amazing. If you know what you're doing, it's not a long game. And
true.
And the thing is that there's just now the randomizer now introduces so much replayability.
Yeah.
You just have to. There's like so many ways to do many things, but there are hard like gates in order to do certain things. Like the 7th crystal dungeon, Turtle Rock, you can't finish that dungeon without the Cane of Samaria. Or like the first dungeon.
Is that because of the boss, or because there's a certain area that you can't get through?
Like, so you got to make these platforms that you ride on, and the only way to make those platforms is with the Cane of Samaria. And actually, the boss, you can't beat the boss unless you have the Ice Rod and the Fire Rod. Although I think you might be able to use Bombos instead of the Fire Rod. I haven't tested that yet. But like, even the first dungeon, you can't beat it without the arrows, because there's a red Igor or whatever those guys are called that you can't kill with anything but arrows. Mm-hmm. So you can't get into the boss room without that. So you just kind of got to know, like, okay, these are the items that I need in order to do X, Y, and Z. And same thing with Metroid. In the beginning of Metroid, if you don't have the Morph Ball, there are like there's 3 items you need at the beginning of Metroid really to do anything. You need either the Speed Booster, the Morph Ball, or the Screw Attack.
Oh, and that's right. Okay, so the Speed Booster, you need to run through walls. The Morph Ball, you need to get through small holes in walls.
And the Screw Attack can also let you get through certain walls too. But like I played, so the first game I played, I didn't get the morph ball until like the basement of the 5th crystal dungeon in the Dark World, the Ice Palace. So I played a lot of Zelda before I played a lot of Metroid. But I did in the second game I played, I got the screw attack early. So I was able to explore a bunch of Metroid and, get things like I didn't get the shield until like the end of Norfair. So I couldn't block anything in Zelda. So it's
oh my God.
It's really neat. It makes you be a little creative with how the game works. I will say it kind of makes Metroid easier in a sense because all the missile tanks and super missile tanks and power bomb tanks are also randomized. So it's likely that you're going to find like super missiles before anything else. So bosses that you normally fight before you get super missiles are really easy because you don't have, because now you have super missiles. But actually, now that I think about it, in the first game I played, I didn't find bombs forever, like regular Metroid morph ball bombs forever. But I did have
that you need to get through most of the walls.
But I did have power bombs. So I had to pay attention and be like, okay, I have 10 power bombs. I have to make sure that if I go into a room and use a power bomb to get through it, I have a power bomb left to get back.
Oh my God.
So like in Zelda, you cannot soft lock. Soft locking is like you can still move around in the game. The game didn't freeze. You just can't escape. You can't move. Mm-hmm. You can't get out of that room or whatever. Because you can always just hit select, save and quit, and then spawn back at Sanctuary or whatever. In Metroid, though, for instance, like the first time I played it, or one of the times I played it, I got to Norfair, and in the room with the high jump boots, in the room before it, you can't get out of that room unless you have the bombs, which I did not have, and I had used all my power bombs. And I was like, shit.
So you just had to restart the whole thing?
Well, you restart from your last save, but yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. I was thinking you just had to restart from
the beginning every time. I wouldn't put it past Josh just to play that way himself. Yeah. Because he's a sicko.
Well, I wasn't going to do it. I mean, now I've played enough of the randomizer and gotten myself reacquainted with Super Metroid. Because way back in the day, I played a lot of Super Metroid. It's just been a long time, and I've forgotten a lot. But now I've got myself reacquainted with it, and I'm like, oh, okay, so if I go into this room, I got to make sure I have this item, or else I will not be able to get out, or something like that. So there's a little bit of stuff you got to remember here and there, but there's so many ways to get around things, which you just don't think about it when you're playing it normally, because the game's designed to be like, okay, there's this ledge up there. I can't reach that ledge. I need the high jump boots. So I'll come back once I get the high jump boots. But if you know how to wall jump, or if you know how to shine spark, you can get there. You just have to play around with it a little bit.
Man, you have to know those games so intimately.
And you have to be good to be able to pull off those kind of moves. Like wall jumping it in Super Metroid was a nightmare. I mean, there was one point at which I felt, okay, I can do this now. I've got it down. And within 10 minutes, I was like, nope, lost it. So had it there for a minute, but it's gone.
Yeah, wall jump has been tricky for me. And like I've watched people like during AGDQ and whatnot do just ridiculous wall jumps, and they're doing it consistently. I still don't do it very consistently, but I do it when I need to do it, sort of thing. I will eventually get there.
Josh, I love how much you enjoy this game that you're trying to convince both me and Elliot to play it. And you said you're willing to coach us. The idea that you think that would be enough. And your coaching was definitely enough to get me through Mega Man 2. But the idea that coaching could get us through this, I don't know, man.
Speaking of which, did you ever watch my Mega Man X video?
I watched a bit of it. I got through a few bosses. I should go back to it, though. You're right. Should have reminded me of it last week when we were doing last episode when we were doing the backlog roulette for me.
Oh, okay.
Mega Man X, yeah.
But it's so. But I just, like I said, I just keep playing it because there's so much replayability. I mean, yes, you still have to complete all the same dungeons, but you're going to do it in a different order. You might not have all the same items you had, like in the second game I played. The only weapon I had for the longest time was the hook shot. I didn't find the sword for a while, so I couldn't I could kill small enemies, but I could only stun larger enemies. So like I had to think about how I was going to get around all that stuff. But yeah, it's just fun. I don't know. I like the challenge. I like that I don't know what's going to be coming up. the thing though, when you do generate the randomization, you can get like a spoiler list as to where everything is. You can get that if you want to.
You don't do that though, of course.
Well, so in the first time I played it, it's like I said, it's been a long time since I played Super Metroid, so I've forgotten where some of the hidden items are, and I had not found the X-ray vision visor yet. So I was like, okay, I need the hammer. Where the fuck is the hammer? Yeah. And so I looked it up and was like, oh, okay, well the hammer's in Lower Norfair. And then I was like, well, I don't have the Various suit. How am I going to get down there? And I was like, oh, the Various suit's behind Crocomire. But I need to get to Crocomire. Mm-hmm. And so basically I had to run through a part of Norfair without the Various suit, just taking constant damage. Luckily, when you fight Crocomire, there is no constant damage during the fight. I didn't realize that. So once I got there, it was okay. But I was really worried about going through that area because I was just going to die. I thought I was just going to die once I got to the boss.
Don't you need to look at that list to tell whether you're locked from getting to certain things, or does the randomizer work in a way that there's always a way to get through both games?
Yeah, so the way the randomizer works is that they have, it recognizes that you need certain items in order to get to other items. So you should not get blocked anyway by progression. You can get, like I said, you could get soft lock, like if in Metroid, if you enter a room but don't have the item to get out. That's something you can do. But no, there shouldn't be anything that prevents you from progressing if you know what you're doing.
That's so amazing. The person who did this is so... Oh, what a genius. I want to pat them on the back.
Are you effectively beating both games side by side? Like
yes.
You don't... Like, nothing's cut out. They're both stitched together entire games.
So it skips the intros for both games. So, like, you don't do the initial Ridley space station fight in Metroid. You just start out on the ship on the planet. And in Zelda, you don't do the uncle, going into the thing and rescuing Zelda first. You can still go through that area, and the uncle's an example of an item you can get. You just got to go to that spot, and the uncle's there. He gives you an item. Might not be the sword, might be something else. But yeah, it skips those initial intro cut. I don't want to say cut scenes, but you know what I mean. Intro parts. So you just get thrown straight into the game. It starts you off on Metroid on the ship. Like I said, there's literally only one item you can get there, and if it's not something that progresses you in Metroid, you got to jump over to Zelda. Oh
wow, jeez,
it's fun. I know I'm masochistic and all that, but it's just I like the challenge, and I like just having to figure. I'm like, oh god, I don't have the flippers, so I can't go here, but I have the I've got the fire rod, so I can go finish the third boss in the Dark World.
Okay, Josh. Next time you come visit, we'll do this. We'll give this a shot. Okay. I'll try and do it, and you can coach me through it. There's no way we're doing it remotely. And I'm like asking you over the phone while streaming this. It would just be a complete disaster. Nobody wants to see that.
Elliot's going to give it a shot, though, right?
I'm going to give it a shot. Yeah, it's very Zelda is also one of my favorite games ever.
These are both perfect games, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which is why I love it, because there's these two of my favorite games stitched together. It's with replayability.
How do you make the best game ever made? Take the other two best games ever made and mash them together.
Exactly. I love it. But other than that, I mean, I wanted to play Red Dead Redemption, but I just kept I got pulled away.
Oh man, I totally forgot about that.
I had to go away for work for a bit, but while I was away, I pulled out Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance.
The original
on Game Boy,
not Sacred Stones.
Yeah, the one that's just called Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Is that the first Fire Emblem game ever?
No.
There was one on Super Nintendo. I think was the first system.
NES has some Super Famicom ones that didn't come over.
Oh, okay.
I think technically the Shadow Dragon that they remade for DS is a remake of the first Fire Emblem. But Shadow
How many
Dragon
of them were just called Fire Emblem on different machines?
I think just the original and the one on Game Boy Advance.
Yeah. Yep.
But so I love tactical RPGs, but I never really got into Shining Force. I never had a Genesis or anything, but I had played them over time, and I actually have Shining Force 1 or 2 on Steam. One of those two, I can't remember. And Fire Emblem just totally blew by me. I never really paid much attention to Fire Emblem at all, but I've heard a lot of good things, and I was just like, you know what? I've got this. Let's give it a shot. I've only done like the first 3 or 4 missions so far. Nothing, that much so far. But I feel like.
Have you played any games in the series, or is this the first one you've ever played?
Other than like, I have Fire Emblem Awakening on my 3DS, but I like started it, and I think at the same time I also got like Bravely Default or Persona or something like that on there, and it just got sent to the back. So I think I'll tackle that one after that, but I wanted to kind of see where it came from, and the Game Boy Advance one I heard was pretty good. And other than that, I played the iOS gacha game, which has since been deleted from my phone because it just got stupid.
Yeah. It's pretty much a dating sim now. Like, that's the catch. That's what brings people in.
Yeah. So I just wanted a straightforward tactical RPG, and this game is based around the weapon triangle, where lances beat swords, swords beat axes, axes beat lances. There's also some magic you can throw in there too.
In what world does a sword beat an axe?
You're lighter on your feet. Axes are heavier, and I'm just guessing.
Okay. I'd rather be sorted than axed, personally. But
rather be sorted, by the way, our spin-off podcast. It's coming.
But yeah, I'll probably keep it up. I like those games. It's been a while since I've played a tactical RPG, so I'll probably fiddle around with that one and then move on to Awakening at some point. But
man, yeah, I fucking love tactical RPGs, and I haven't played one in so long. Like Final Fantasy Tactics, speaking of my favorite games ever made, it's like that and Zelda and Metal Gear Solid.
Final Fantasy Tactics is amazing. Did you see? I know we're not talking about news right now, but did you see the leaked art?
Don't play with me. Don't play with me.
Shut up. No. Did you see the leaked art and screenshots from the original? I can't remember the dude's name who created the damn series.
Matsumi.
Matsuno, right?
Matsuno. Damn it.
Yeah. Matsuno for Final Fantasy Tactics 2.
What? No.
Yeah, no.
But canceled game.
Yeah. It's not right, but it was going to use like the hex system. It was going to use it was going to use a hex grid. And
speaking of hex grids and Matsumo, did I just say it right?
It's Matsuno, isn't it?
Matsuno games. That stupid Kickstarted game that he's a part of. Unsung Story.
Hero? No. I know
it's called Unsung Hero. Yeah.
Okay.
No way. It's not called Unsung Hero. It's like Unsung Story or Unsung.
Is it Unsung Story?
But anyway,
it doesn't matter. Anyway, what were you meant to talk about?
Anyway, that's a Matsuno game. And he was going to do the hex grid. So it sounds like he's putting the ideas that he wanted to do in Tactics 2 into this one.
But yeah, go look on there's a thread on Resetera about it, but it also had it looked like Bahamut Lagoon graphics.
Oh man.
In battle. So, the decent, good looking sprites. It was like, I don't know. It was like almost like a mix between like Ogre Battle and Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh my God. All I've wanted since I played that game is a fully like 3D immersive realized FF Tactics game with like knights and wizards and magic.
I was not a fan of Advance. I didn't play A2, but Advance was not.
No, it was not what I wanted.
Exactly.
I didn't ask for this.
Well, we've got completely sidetracked. And by the way, Elliot, you were right. It was Unsung Story.
Yes.
All right.
The closest we've got to that is FF12. So it holds
although speaking of Ivalice, Elliot.
Oh man, this has very little to do with Ivalice, but I was playing Final Fantasy XI.
Doesn't it take place in Ivalice?
No, it takes place in
Vana'diel. That's right. My bad,
guys. Yeah. What are all these words you're saying?
They're words.
Ivalice is like a universe, like a universe in the Final Fantasy universe that they keep coming back to, and it's always like medieval, like knights and castles and old English accents. And there's FF Tactics and FF12 and Vagrant Story all take place in there.
Yeah.
And I think there's a couple others, but
Tactics Advance I think is technically Ivalice, but it's let's just forget that game exists.
They fuck around with that a little bit.
Yeah.
FF11 is not Ivalice, but it's Vana'diel. And actually, I think speaking of MMOs, which is what FF11 is, FF14 does have an Ivalice event.
Yeah, they do. You fight like the judges or something like that while you're there.
Yeah, goddamn.
So tell us about 11.
So Final Fantasy XI is a 15-year-old MMO that's still going on, and it's still getting content updates, and it's still they just had an expansion like 2 or 3 years ago, and it
is it on PC? Do you play it on Steam?
It's only on PC now, yeah. So it started off in Japan on PS2, and then they ported it to PC, and so the first time it came to the US was when it came to PC, and that's when I got it. And then it eventually came to PS2 as well. And then 360, but it's been going on and on and on. They no longer support the console ones; they just support the Windows one. And it's
by the way, I'm always blown away by this idea of you playing online games on PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
To me, in my mind, PlayStation 2 was so far before we had like decent internet in Northern Ireland, and having any kind of connection that wasn't like ruined by somebody picking up a phone.
Yeah, that's how I played it.
That 56K could be reliable enough or good enough to play a game on. What's the other one that you always talk about, Elliot? It's the Battlefront game. Was one of the Star Wars Battlefronts?
Oh, Battlefront 2, yeah.
Was that on PlayStation 2 as well, or am I misremembering that?
That was PS2.
Yeah,
the original Battlefront 2.
Can't imagine that you were able to play that.
It wasn't great. And I like when FF11 came to PS2, it was a big deal because it required a hard drive, and PS2 didn't have one. So you had the game
memory cards and CDs and memory cards.
Yeah, it was just memory cards, and there wasn't nearly enough space on a memory card to hold the game. So they actually released a hard drive add-on. The whole game cost $100 because you had to buy the hard drive with it, the expansion. You put it in the expansion bay in the PS2, and plug in your little modem, and then you could play.
Wow.
And people, I never had the PS2 one. I only got it on Windows. And it was, do you remember EverQuest?
I've heard the name, but certainly don't remember it being a big thing, or it certainly never played it.
It was basically like the original, like lasting MMO formula. Yeah. And that's kind of what FF11 like modeled itself after. It's basically EverQuest with Final Fantasy characters. And
how does it play? Does it feel modern at all, or is it just completely archaic? How does it even look? Does it look similar to Final Fantasy X, which I've been playing recently, or is it a big step up from that?
It looks like, so it doesn't look quite as good as 10, I wouldn't say. I don't know, maybe it does look. So it benefits from being all polygonal, so it upscales really well. And on Windows, there's like a third-party program that's very recommended called Windower, and it helps you adjust the settings beyond what the game lets you do. Like it messes with the INI files, and is
it third-person perspective behind the character?
Third person behind the character, and you can adjust the POV and the view angle. And yeah, you run around, you select an enemy to attack, and it just attacks automatically, and then you can manually add special attacks. Otherwise, he's just going to keep doing physical.
And is there raids and stuff? Is it a big thing that you have to interact with other people? Do you have to set up parties and stuff beforehand, or could you just breeze through it as a single player game mostly?
So that's what's changed. When I first got it back in 2003, I think, it was very much party focused. You couldn't do anything unless you had a group. So you'd get up and log in and spend like 20, 30 minutes with like the little tag to be like, looking for group. Anyone want to join my party? And if you didn't have a good party, you couldn't kill the right enemies, and you would get almost no experience points. Like it would take you a lifetime to get anywhere.
Didn't have a decent
party. It also like take away experience too?
Yeah, when you die, it takes like I actually leveled down. You leveled back down.
Yeah, like
if you got killed. Like
in Diablo 2, if you were playing in a Nightmare or Hell difficulty, when you died, you would lose experience, but you would never de-level.
Yeah, it's cruel because it's so hard to get anywhere.
That's
Anyway.
kind of amazing, though. It's kind of what we think of now as Soulsian, you know?
Yeah,
As
it's
like a soul situation where you actually lose the stuff that you spent time building up.
I think experience was all you lose. Like they don't take money or items, but
Yeah.
it was one of those things where you needed a good group, and for the big raids and the big like fighting the final boss kind of thing, you needed several groups allianced together, which was something else you could do.
And would you have to be like running proper tactics? Would you have to be in voice communicating via voice?
You wouldn't need to be in voice. It would help, but everyone would have a role. Like you'd have the tank, and you'd have the damage dealers, and you'd have the healers.
In my mind, that stuff just didn't exist that far back.
The way MMOs work is you have to have a cohesive team that knows their role, what they're doing. Like even with stuff like World of Warcraft, healers will have. I mean, yes, they could pay attention to. They could mod the game. They add extensions where they can see like everybody's health bar, and they'll just keep clicking basically on everybody that's losing health and keep healing them constantly. Mm-hmm. But if you're not like that extreme, you would need someone saying, "I need healing, quick, heal me." So voice chat at the very least is almost a necessity for a lot of games like that.
The cool thing about FF11
and World of Warcraft was the original. World of Warcraft was like you had to have a proper party and you had to have your roles.
No, but before that there was like EverQuest. I think RuneScape was before that too. So EverQuest was like the first big MMO.
Yeah, we went over EverQuest while you stepped away.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Kid came home.
World of Warcraft came after FF11, or maybe like around then, and it changed the formula and made it.
Oh, it did. Yeah, it came after. Yeah. It came 2 years later.
Yeah, and so by that point, like that formula was just obsolete, and FF11, they lost a lot of subscribers when people switched to World of Warcraft because it was what everyone was looking for.
Or you're like me and you played Guild Wars, the better game.
Guild Wars also was getting a lot of attention then.
We need to play that. We really do. Play Guild Wars with me.
The cool thing about FF11 now is that since it's so old and so many people aren't there anymore, that old formula of needing a gigantic group just isn't doable. It's not sustainable. So they've made it really soloable. I've been to start this all off, I haven't paid anything for it. They're doing a free week right now where if you've ever had an account, you can log in for free until like Monday, I think.
And then you normally pay monthly?
Yeah. Normally it's like $12 or $13 a month.
Wow. For a game that's been going on for 16 years.
It's been the same price.
People still play it though. People have long lasting connections to other players, and they just keep going.
But this whole week, I haven't found a group with anyone. They have a system now where you can summon AI party members, and you just cast a spell, and they appear, and they're all different jobs and different tactics, and they have their own. You can't program them or anything, which is kind of a bummer, but they help you, and they make I went from level 40 to 50 in like 2 days, which back when it started 15 years ago was an unthinkable accomplishment. Like you'd be lucky to get 2 levels in a week. It was amazing. So I'm just kind of addicted by that. Like it's like instant gratification, instant accomplishment. And I'm just like going and going and going. So I'm like
air quotes instant.
Instant, yeah. Compared to anything else before. So I'm getting it in my head where I'm like, maybe I can, and I've never finished the main story. It was just, as I said, so fucking hard to get anywhere in that game. And if you didn't have the right group, and I rarely did, you'd spend the first hour playing just trying to find a group. So now I'm like, I can do this. Like I can beat the game. I've heard people say you can solo everything now. And I've never there's so many expansions and I have them all. They're all like part of my account, but I've never beat the main base game. And I'm like 2 missions away from it. So
wow.
It's like, oh shit, man.
You're a white whale. This is so cool.
Elliot, if you pay for my subscription, I'll play with you.
Yeah, I'll have to pay for my own though, and I can't do that till next year.
Yeah.
Wait. No, you already have the game. You're not buying a game, so it's okay.
That's interesting. We've not discussed that, have we? Because Nintendo's.
When does the free weekend end? How many more days? Do you have any more days on the free week?
And it's like Monday at 2 a.m. or something like
There's
that.
a reason I asked you how many days.
Right.
Because we're time traveling again.
Yeah.
How many days left do you have?
Basically Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, by the time this airs, it would have done. It would. By the time
Don't do that either. That's no better. How many days do you have to play? And do you think you can beat those two missions?
So the problem I'm coming up against is things are not going as smoothly as I expected. Like there's these other quests where like level 50 is my max right now, and the full game max is 99, but now you have to do quests to unlock every 5 levels. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to waltz in and do this quest now that I'm so overpowered with my party that I can summon. And it's not that easy. You have to like go to some obscure place I've never been to, and it'll take like 30 minutes, and you have to fight the right thing and get the right items. And I'm like, I thought I was right there. And like, the more I look up what I need to do, like that distance just gets longer and longer and longer.
When are you gonna fight Infinite Virtue or whatever the hell that thing was called that took players 48 hours to kill?
What the hell? I didn't hear about that.
Oh, this was like back in like I don't know if it might not have been a vanilla, but maybe one of the expansions. But there was like an enemy, something Virtue, where it was like nigh unkillable, and players had to fight this thing for like, I don't remember, it was like 10 days straight or something to kill it. It was ridiculous. And they finally nerfed it a little bit. But
my God. Well,
Elliot, that's the final boss. That's what you have to look forward to.
Somehow I don't think
you're going to have to pay for a year's worth subscription to do this.
It's all like, if you get to level 99, I've heard that the entire game is doable. Or soloable. And getting up levels is really quick. So
it was called Absolute Virtue. It was part of the Chains of Promethea one.
Okay,
and,
so that was the second expansion. Yeah,
and it was at the time it took. They eventually imposed a time limit of 2 hours on the boss.
God. Because people were losing their jobs, I'm sure.
And that's it. Absolute Virtue had, on several occasions, been fought and held by link shells for over 30 hours trying to defeat it to no avail.
My God.
What a phenomenon, guys. MMOs are amazing.
And that's the funny thing is I've been kind of in a gaming funk these last few weeks, and this free week started up, and all of a sudden I've played games like 12 hours a day. I can't stop.
Does Amy know what you've been doing?
Of course not.
Do you remember Amy?
Of course not. I think MMOs are my thing, guys. I think that's what I need to just dedicate my life to.
Guild Wars. Yeah. I will play Guild Wars with you over and over again. Let's play some Guild Wars.
I'm at the same place.
Let's play some more Borderlands 2. I booted it up yesterday evening, and I was just playing a little bit for a half hour, an hour myself, just to kind of get the feeling for it, different weapons. I went to the gun store guy, and he gave me an idea of what the different ammo types do.
Yeah, the elements.
That was very useful. I feel like I'll know what kind of guns I need to use for different enemies from now on. And it was just good getting a feel for it. I think we'll have more fun with it the next time, Josh.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. That's a good like semi MMO. Multiplayer co-op game.
Yeah, and it's got a bit of satisfying shooting to it too.
It's so good, those headshots, man.
And the graphics. Oh, that was the other thing. I was using NVIDIA GeForce Experience, and it suggested what graphic settings I should use. And it actually suggested that I did like 4K and then used the resizing down.
Oh, super sampling.
Yeah.
I thought it was downscaling, but yeah. Okay.
Downscaling, yeah.
Downsampling.
I actually, it ended up like cutting my frames per second down to about 40, and I was like, nope. But it also got me to up everything else to ultra high, basically.
Yeah. And
now it looks even better. That game, even now, like, Josh, what year did it come out?
I don't remember. 2008, 9, something like that. I don't know.
It still looks absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It looks so like hand drawn and
yeah.
You've got all your settings maxed out and at 4K and it's still 60.
It might have been like 40k.
You said it was like
no,
40
sorry.
or
What I'm saying is like it took me down to like 38, 45,
Oh, okay.
somewhere around there, and I was like, no, I'd rather play it at like over 100 FPS on 1080p. So that's what I do.
So yeah, besides that, what were you playing, Steve-O?
Well, I was also playing a Final Fantasy game as dictated to me by ye old backlog roulette. But I don't know.
Was I right? Was I right?
Yeah, it hasn't aged too well, has it?
What? Okay, aging. I'll argue that it aged just fine.
You think so?
Yeah,
It's aged better than FF11, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Well, the big thing about it for me is moving between areas. The amount of loading that there is, like just going from one screen to another. And isn't it? It's fixed cameras as well,
Yeah.
which again, really, the only games that I'll play that I allow fixed cameras usually are Resident Evil games. And I feel like they work because survival horror, having a fixed camera makes the thing harder and makes you more tense. You don't have a camera to control to make things easier for yourself. When it's a game like this, an RPG, I'm kind of like, ugh, this doesn't really fit. And as for the main character, lads, my god, what a meat bag! Like,
Okay, so
like, if he talks about Blurns Ball one more fucking time, I mean. And I know it's Blitzball, but I thought it deserved a good Futurama.
Multi-blurn! So, I know his name is Titus. I'm not calling him Titus. It's Titus.
I know. I was so disappointed when I heard it was actually Titus.
But it's Titus. They call him Titus. The voice actors call him Titus.
They never say his name.
They never say his name.
Oh, that's
he's the only character you can rename him. He's the only character that you can rename.
Oh, okay.
So they never say his name. He grew on me. He does initially is like this whiny little brat. He's
really bad.
He gets a lot better.
He's just such a doofus. I mean, is he ever going to get smarter? And if so,
Yes.
how? Like, is he going to get like a big old whack on the head and suddenly be like Stephen Hawking?
He gets
is he gonna be
he gets a
genius?
lot better.
That's the biggest plot hole, is that he goes from being a dork to smart.
I
just
wouldn't
don't buy
even
it.
call him a dork. I would definitely call him just a doofus.
Okay, but here's the
he's
thing.
He's just an unnaturally dumb fellow.
If and when you beat the game, you'll cry. It's a sad and it's
the story is outstanding.
the story is very good. And Titus is Titus is a bit of a wet blanket to begin with, but he does grow. Honestly, the character I hate the most is Waka. I hate Waka.
Well, I was about to say, didn't you tell me that that's who I've just most recently stumbled upon? Like, I did an underwater mission with a map that looked very like a penis.
Did you try to hold your breath the whole time to see how realistic this was? That's what I do.
I can hold my breath for 10 minutes.
And then we end up going somewhere, and I wash up on a beach. And then there's some other meathead there, and I was like, nope, can't do this right now.
Yeah,
that's going to be the dumbest conversation in history.
Yeah.
Not sure I can handle it.
Yeah, that's Waka. He's an okay character. He's kind of obnoxious. I mean, he's not the most useless character. That belongs to Kimari. He's fucking useless.
He's the Dragoon.
Yeah, but it's a Dragoon that can only jump when he has a limit break.
Yeah.
The other thing I found was, it was taking a long time. There was a lot of just straight up attacks per times that I could use the skills or the special type of abilities. Well, I guess that's different for different characters. I was able to use the grenade for the girl, whose name I still don't know. Do I?
No. But she's a question mark until later.
Oh, right.
So I could use her grenade, but for my character, I'm just like hitting and hitting.
So for Titus, you got to go along the sphere grid a bit in order to open up some of his attacks. But he's really useful for hitting quick enemies. Like he'll get a quick attack, which means like he'll attack, and then you'll get your turn faster again. Or he'll have like a delay attack, which attacks the enemy and they get their turn much later. So
I should be going for like smaller enemies with him then.
So
and use the skills on bigger foes.
Yeah, so the way the game works, once you get more of your party members, is that like Tidus is really good for attacking quick enemies. Auron's really good for attacking armored enemies. Wakka's good for flying enemies. And Lulu is good for using magic on stuff like flans. So I mean flans. So yeah, so there is kind of like this character is best against this type of enemies, but it's really just
Who's good for making the game more interesting to me.
That's up to you, Steve-O.
Auron is.
Okay, well,
awesome.
Okay, so should I give it another go? Am I far into it? Is there a couple of interesting things?
You are not far in at all.
Okay, well, I realized that.
You're not even past the intro.
What I'm trying to get at is like, is there a couple of like interesting scenes gonna happen anytime soon?
I would go until you get to
Kilika.
Well, Kilika maybe, but I was gonna say till he fights the hell's the name? The Sin Spawn with the other party member that's a temporary member.
Okay. I'll remember those two things and I'll aim for the furthest one of those and we'll see what we do.
It's I want to say it's after it's at Mushroom Rock Ridge or something like that. Mushroom Rock Road, something like that. Go there, do the scenes there and tell me.
That definitely sounds like a Mario level.
I know.
Totally.
Man, that got me thinking, what modern day game today could we mash together? Could we do like Breath of the Wild and Metroid Prime?
No.
Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey would be easy.
Breath of the Wild, but you're not collecting anything.
Good
Useful.
point. You're not really. You get all your skills basically at the start for both of those games.
Maybe like
Twilight Princess,
Metroid Prime, and Wind Waker or something.
Yeah, it'd have to be like a 3D dungeon Zelda.
Cool. Josh, get your coding.
Yeah,
on the go.
This is your calling.
What?
I've been playing other games too, though.
Yeah.
Lies.
Again, speaking of Super Nintendo games, I actually played a game that is a spin-off to a game that hasn't even come out with yet. So that's interesting.
So maybe this is the actual game. The other one's a spin-off.
Exactly.
So I backed Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is meant to be
that was Curse of the Moon.
No, he backed.
I'm getting to that, Josh.
Sorry.
Getting to that.
I'm confused, so explain it, please.
It's jumping ahead.
So Ritual of the Night is due to be a spiritual successor to Symphony of the Night.
Right.
And it's being created by Koji Igarashi, who was apparently integral to Symphony of the Night.
We just call him Iga.
Iga.
Yeah,
sorry.
Iga.
Being created by Iga.
It's called an Igavania.
Yeah.
As always, I'm showing my ignorance in the ways of old games. So, yeah, Ritual of the Night hasn't even come out yet. And it's due out on, like, obviously Steam and PS4. It's coming out on Vita too, apparently, which is probably what I have, like, asked for the code on, because Vita is the greatest machine known to man. And this other one, the spin-off, they sent out the survey later, so obviously I asked for it on Nintendo Switch. But unfortunately, there have been some fuck-ups. So the new the spin-off game, which is Curse of the Moon, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, has been released. It came out Friday, May 25th, and they haven't managed to get their distribution channel set up for Switch and for presumably the PlayStation consoles. So they ended up giving people temporary Steam codes, which I guess is all right. You know, they apologize for it. And
I wonder how that's going to work, temporary, when you say temporary.
It does say temporary in parentheses beside it in my Steam list. So I do think they're going to pull it from you again.
So what's the thing?
And as I was saying to you, Elliot, I feel like that's fair enough. Like, for those people who requested it on Steam and were getting their actual codes, the idea that all of us would get a free code, and then it wasn't like they're going to get a free Nintendo Switch one, especially if there's problems with distribution, then you can't exactly just let us keep all those Steam codes as well.
Yeah.
But I booted it up yesterday evening, and it's really, really fun. It is completely reminding me of Super Castlevania 4 It controls like stiffly, and you move slowly across the screen, step by step. You have to like point your direction and jump at the same time if you want to hop over ledges and stuff. It's so arcade feeling, but it's also fun because I enjoyed Castlevania 4, and it's also got a bit of a twist on the formula, which is as you complete stages, different people join your party, and each of the characters has different skills and attributes and controls slightly differently, and they get different special weapons. So as you go on to the following stages, you can switch between the character at any time using your back buttons, your L1, R1, and the idea is that you should use different ones for different scenarios.
Okay.
So my big question is jumping the same way as original Castlevania? Can you change direction in midair?
No, I don't think you can.
All right, pass.
No, it's fun though. But hang on, didn't you like Super Castlevania 4?
I don't like the way jumping works in that game, in the sense that like, if you're not exactly on, you will miss your jump.
Yeah, the thing that does me the most is like when you go to do a jump and you realize an enemy is coming towards you, and you just know you're going to bounce off it and down, into the abyss and die.
I hate that. So
man, Mega Man does that to you all the time, though.
Yeah, no, Mega Man, you can change direction in midair.
Okay, well.
Okay.
Castlevania, you press jump, you're going to complete that jump or die trying.
Well, in fairness, you also have however many other characters so that you don't have to go back to the start of the level. You can just
so if someone dies, you switch to another character.
Yeah, so you stay on the same screen, the same room, and switch to the other.
I guess that helps, but then the next character still jumps the same way. So
yeah, but at least it's basically giving you an extra chance to get past that enemy and that jump. It's a really smart way of making things a little easier for a modern day audience. It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
So I played a little bit of that. It's making me look forward to Ritual of the Night even more. Hopefully, like, if they can make something with a lot of Super Castlevania in the blood, and if they can make something that's like Symphony of the Night, if they can actually pull it off. Can you imagine? Could be so good.
I'm kicking myself for not backing it. I was at the backing page and I was like, no, I just got burned on Mighty Number 9. I'll just pick it up when it comes out. What's the rush? And little did I know I wouldn't be buying games this year.
I backed Divinity Original Sin 2, and that's it. I'm very wary when it comes to Kickstarter. So I mean, let me know how it is, but other than that, I'm fine.
I mean, I still have Unsung Story. Like, it was like 3 in a row.
That's never coming out. So the ones that I backed, I can't remember if they were around the same time or not. Were Mighty Number 9, Unsung Story, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, and the other one was Bard's Tale 4. And at least Ritual of the Night and Bard's Tale are going to come out. Bard's Tale, they do updates so regularly. I can't imagine that that's going to be delayed too long.
Yeah.
But that's not the only game I've been playing. And this one is kind of coming out of nowhere. Yeah. I've been playing Severed on PlayStation Vita.
I remember seeing it. I just didn't really... It looked like... It almost, I'm not... I mean, I'll let you explain it, but it seemed to me like a Fruit Ninja type game, you know? I don't know how to put it.
Oh, so it's much more cheerful than the title implies.
Well, it is touch-based, and you know me, I'm a very cynical man. But it is on PS Vita, which, as you know, is the greatest console ever made. But Severed is completely... It's very different from anything I've ever played before. Because, first up, I've never played a touchscreen game in my life. As a general rule...
Not even Fruit Ninja?
How much do you play Fruit Ninja? You boot it up, you slice a couple of watermelons, and you're
you've played it.
Oh, that's that. I'll never touch that again.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never actually played it and enjoyed it and or considered completing it.
I don't think you can complete it, can you? You just keep trying to top your score.
Narrator, yes. Steve-O loves
we're
Candy
adding
Crush.
Fruit Ninja to our games list this week.
Just don't.
So, Steve-O's going to beat Candy Crush by next week.
So, Severed is a PS Vita game, and I would describe it, and I've written this out, and then I've like highlighted different parts of this. It's a first-person dungeon crawling action RPG with puzzles and boss battles and turn-based elements.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
Fantasy Star.
That was all me, god damn it. So obviously it's first person. It's a dungeon crawler. And as I was saying to Josh, it's I think it's kind of similar in style to Legend of Grimrock, where you can constantly look at your map. Your map is like laid out in a grid-based system where you're walking through corridors and you can go north, south, east, and west out of rooms, depending on which sides of the room have walls. So have walls, have doors, obviously, and have walls.
If you can go one of those directions, you can go one of those directions. Yes, we get it.
So it's a dungeon crawler, similar to that. It's an action game because you're using the touch screen, and everything that you're doing, you're attacking in real time.
Huh.
There are lots of different enemy types. Some of them have different styles of defense. Some of them are like have loads of different arms, and they cover themselves up so that you can't swipe them at certain times. And then you will see, one of the other parts I mentioned is turn-based elements. The turn-based element of it is the enemy's attack in turn-based fashion. So you can basically see, when you're looking at your screen, underneath where you would swipe the screen to attack at the enemy that you're currently looking at, you can also see little icons for what other enemies are around you at any time. And I think there's like 8 directions around you, but you basically just swipe left, or you like move your analog left or right to look at the enemy to the left of the current enemy.
So basically, you've got at most like 8 enemies fighting you, and you need to work around their turns by swiping left and right to attack the enemies that are basically not attacking you, or to defend, or to like just hit the ones that are attacking you and defend or something.
Exactly. So on their icons below your screen, you can see their countdown timers, and you basically want to swap to one as their countdown timer is about to go off, because you want to block whatever they're doing, or you want to attack them to stun them and stop them attacking.
Okay.
It's also an RPG because you can level up your character's stats, your attack, defend, you get certain magical abilities, which you can use both to explore, to basically solve environmental puzzles, or you can use them while in battle to either stun enemies or attack enemies with the different magic powers.
Are battles just the enemies that you encounter on the while you're crawling through the dungeon, or is it like...
So you actually go into combat mode.
Okay.
So as you're walking along, you'll see a little white flame in the room next to you, and if you walk into that room, you will be surrounded by however many enemies. I actually think I've only come up against 4 enemies maximum at this point. It could be more. As I say, sometimes it seems like some of them are at a 45-degree angle to you. So that would tell me maybe there could be 8 total, but I've only come up against 4. It's got so many layers. It's really interesting. It also has boss battles. So certain bosses will spawn enemies, and they can get different buffs from the enemies who are fighting you. So you also have to deal with that magical elements of these enemies and them having different buffs, and you can like steal some of those buffs. They just did so much with so little. I cannot believe this game is on the Vita, and yet it's a perfect platform for it. The touch screen. I never ever thought I would play a Vita game that makes use of Vita touchscreen and say this makes this a better game. I'm glad this has it, and yet this game has done that for me.
It sounds so different from anything I expected. Maybe I was confusing it with something else, but Like it's a Vita exclusive. Like
It is, yeah. Oh no, wait. It used to be. I wonder is it out on mobile platforms now?
okay, I could see that too.
And I think it's definitely out on Switch.
Oh, wow.
Which again could be a good place to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's made by Drinkbox Studios, who you might remember made Guacamelee.
That's the one.
Did you ever play that? That is a fantastic platformer. Yeah. It's Metroidvania, and you build up different skills as you go through, and it's done in a similar art style to this, which is beautiful, bright colors. It's got a Day of the Dead theme. It's like all hand painted, and it's just got such character and a lot of humor. Actually, both of the games have a lot of humor, a lot of character.
Severed does?
Severed does as well. So it's basically the story is that you are a teenage warrior girl named Sasha, and you've come to the land of the dead, actually similar to Hellblade, to like save your family, to retrieve your family from the land of the dead. And it just paints such a beautiful picture. It's, again, I can't believe this game is on Vita.
I gotta say, for a game that never even blipped on my radar, it just, I don't know, maybe the picture that they put on there or the title just sounded like shovelware, or maybe it made it sound like a horror game, and I just don't usually like listen to that.
It's certainly not a horror game.
Yeah, something I would totally play.
It's a perfect traveling game, and
it does sound a lot. So like when I remember seeing like screenshots of it, and I mean, you telling me more about it has made me a little bit more interested, because originally it looked like, I mean, for lack of a better term, like a dungeon crawling fruit ninja. You know?
Yeah, it looked like that to me too. I don't know why I decided to give it a go, but I'm so glad I did.
So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely now that it sounds like, you know, there's like strategy and shit involved, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll take a look at it then. But yeah.
And the other thing about it is the puzzles are really good. They're mostly simple environmental puzzles. There's a lot of like turning switches and collecting keys, and a few kind of spot the object in the environment puzzles. Yeah. But all of it is satisfying. Like it's got that kind of Portal feel where you when you complete the level, when you find the secret, it really does give you that little sense of satisfaction that keeps you going.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's so many good things to say about it. It's beautiful, as I say, the art direction, the colors, the use of light and dark, the characters. There's little like crazy looking Pan's Labyrinthian enemies in it, and characters, these kind of bird things that you talk to as you're going along. The encounters, as I say, are really challenging. Some of the boss battles are really challenging. One of them I ended up till 2 a.m. after being so close to beating it, and then I tried using a power that I never use, and I died, and I was like, why did I do that? My strategy had been working perfectly, and then it took me another 45 minutes after that to beat it, and I was so mad at myself. But and the last thing to throw in is it has a really good platinum.
Oh.
The way exploration works is so satisfying. The way the puzzles work is so satisfying. You can also, at any point, if you click on your map, you can see how many of the secrets you found in the level.
Nice.
You can see your percent map exploration, and you're constantly getting trophies for, you know, killing this many people in this way, severing this many limbs. Because when you kill an enemy, if you have leveled up your focus, you then have the chance to sever limbs off them, which is what you use to up your different stats. So that's the RPG elements of it. As I say, guys, there's layer upon layer upon layer, and I genuinely think that I'm going to platinum a Vita game. Two things that I never thought I would say, that I'm going to platinum a Vita game, or that I enjoy a touchscreen game. This one is worth a try, seriously. Do yourselves a favor, next time you're on the road, Josh, or next time you're traveling, Elliot, bring the Vita with you and check this one out. It's a diamond.
All right,
I'm gonna
I'll take
go
a look.
download it because it was a Plus game, right? Free on Plus. So
I think it was.
got
Yeah.
somewhere.
I'm not sure.
I'm
I'm not sure.
download that
We'll see.
tonight. If I've got it, yeah. You've definitely piqued my interest. It's very different from what I imagined.
It's totally different from anything I imagined, and even more, it's totally different from anything I imagined enjoying.
Yeah,
but it's so satisfying. It's a fantastic game.
Nice.
Drinkbox, of course.
Yep.
Guacamelee.
All right.
All
right, Elliot. What we got next?
Actually, so we had the news up next, the one sentence news. But before that, I wanted to jump in with another letter that we got.
We got a letter.
wow.
What?
Yeah, another one from our friend Spider.
Oh, Jesus.
Friend of the show, regular guest
Spider.
these days.
Yeah.
Spider, you're spamming us now.
So she enjoyed episode 25. She wanted to thank you for reading the fan letter, Josh, that she sent for that. And that she was joking about reading it in her voice.
Oh, good.
So we're good there. She congratulates us on keeping steady with No New Games 2018. Only 4 months in, but
It's been tough. I want God of War. I want Dad of Boy.
Dad boy.
Dad of Boy. I want it.
She's calling you out, Steve-O.
But what? What did I do this time?
I look forward to Steve-O not committing to FFX. She's
Hold it.
and to more of Elliot's adventures in Xenogears, which I did not play.
I could call that one.
Let's see. I look forward to always hearing Josh giggle at the end of almost all of his sentences. It's okay, Josh. Someone has to laugh at your jokes, even if it's you.
It's true. It's true.
And so she closes by telling us her Game Struck games? Your four games that
Game
define
Struck,
you?
yeah.
For her, it's King's Quest 3.
Did any ever play? Is that a Sierra game?
Is King's Quest 3 the one with the guy that's trapped by the wizard? Is that the one that I think it is? I gotta look it up. What's that? Hold on.
I think I only played one and briefly. It didn't click with me.
It's a point and click game, right?
Yeah. First person, as far as I remember.
Yep. Graphical adventure game.
That is the one. Okay, yeah. It's To Err is Human is what it's called. Err, H-E-I-R. Yeah, I played the hell out of that one. But like the biggest problem with the game is that as you try and leave the wizard's house, you got to go down this twisted mountain path, and because it's a Sierra game, if you're like 1 pixel off the path, you fall off the mountain and die. And there's like a time limit where you have to go back. You have to be back in the wizard's house by X time, or else he finds you and kills you. Yeah.
No wonder Spider's so prompt with these letters.
That was my favorite one. I as far as the Kings, I played 1 through 4. I don't think I ever beat any of them. But as far as the ones I played, 3 was my favorite, just because it was so fucking ridiculous.
Sounds like a Josh game for sure.
So King's Quest 3, Saga Frontier 2.
Yes!
Which is a good one.
What the hell is Saga Frontier?
Oh god.
Oh god.
Don't get Josh started on Saga.
All right, a quick rundown. So this is this is when I was talking about Romancing Saga 2 way back when.
Remember?
It's a long.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning Saga.
So it's the same series.
Same series, but it's like the game is a PS1 game. It looks like it's like watercolor painting.
It was water painted.
Beautiful.
It's
and
gorgeous.
It's also a game for masochists. I've never
did you talk about this on our first episode?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
I think you did.
I might have.
Did.
It's a game I've never beaten, but it's a game I constantly am trying to beat.
It's your white whale.
Yep, it's my white whale.
Wow, Josh is a white whale.
Look, I know I've gained some pounds here, okay, but I'm not yes, I'm white, but I'm not a white whale, fucker.
I never would have believed Josh would have had an unbeaten game. You got to do this, Josh. Come on.
I know.
All right, I'm looking this up. Episode 1. No. When did we talk about it?
I guess
doesn't matter.
It was when I played Romancing Saga 2, which was whenever that was.
Maybe I just didn't put it in the episode list.
We'll go back and check.
We definitely briefly talked about it at some point.
Yep.
Anyway, Saga Frontier 2, King's Quest 3, Diablo 2.
Classic,
of course.
Oh, nice.
So good.
That's a great one.
So good.
And Lineage 2, which
I never played a Lineage game.
Me either.
The Lineage, it's an MMO, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
It's a Korean MMO.
Yeah. So she says, King's Quest was one of my very first PC games, and I fell for it since I love that whole genre of kingdoms and princes and wizards. And I have played all the King's Quest titles since. Josh knows my love for Saga Frontier 2, so I'll let him explain. Yes, he did. Diablo 2 was a game that introduced me to the joy and agonies of setting up local networking PCs so I could play with friends together. I loved my huge CRT and my humongous box across great distances for this game. It was strange and miraculous time. And Lineage 2 is a terrible double plus ungood Korean MMO that ate my life.
Yeah.
I think I went into teen and came out in my 20s and continued to waste my life on its successor Terra Online.
It was like me playing Ragnarok for a while and Gunbound. Gunbound wasn't an MMO, but it was still
I remember Ragnarok.
Shitty. So I remember playing Ragnarok when I was in college, and I ended up on some random dedicated server some dude hosted. He was like, I'm going to make you a admin on this server. And I was like, sweet. So I made myself like a level 3 million assassin and just like killed everything.
You could do that? Jeez.
Yeah, if you have like a dedicated server, you can kind of adjust as you like. That made it a lot more interesting because you weren't just killing the same slime pouring over and over again trying to get a card drop or something.
So she closes with, alrighty, keep up the good work, my commute friends. Remember, there's at least one person who's always looking forward to your next episode.
Aw. We appreciate that.
At least or at most?
At least. At least.
Okay.
She also says, P.S. Josh, I got Dante in Nocturne.
What? Okay, now I gotta play that again.
Yep.
God damn it.
She's calling you out.
It's good to have someone who can call Josh out. We need this.
Yeah.
All right.
Send more letters. Thank you so much, Spider.
I'm gonna go play this after that. I'm gonna go play that after this then.
All right. Should we do the one sentence news?
Yeah, hit us.
Do it quick. Do it quick.
Backlog roulette and close it out. Gamers Club Unlocked Best Buy's discount program is ended.
Haha, sucker.
Amazon wins again.
You can still use it until it's expired if you have an account.
I don't. Sucker.
It is the best deal in gaming, and it is super sad that that's done.
It was.
Yeah, I subscribed every 2 years, and that's going to be a bummer. I'm going to buy less games now. Thanks. It's
the perfect time for it.
Microsoft's accessibility controller came out for $100, and it's supposed to help people with various disabilities enjoy games. It's got the plug and play. It's got the jacks on the back where you can plug in anything to use it however you're able to. Go, Josh.
All right. Yeah, I watched the video of this thing, and I was actually really, really impressed. I really hope that this thing is a boon to those who have disabilities, and that allows them to play whatever game they want to play, because it looks awesome.
Yeah. Steve-o.
This is another consumer-focused move by Microsoft, which doesn't necessarily stand to make them a lot of money. I think long may it last. Like, they keep doing this stuff, backward compatibility, and the more things that get people playing games, the better. I think it's awesome. I
agree. Great move. Really long overdue for the entire industry to have something like this out there. Next up, Nintendo has applied for the N64 trademark, which I think means Nintendo 64 Mini could be on the way.
I don't give a shit because the N64 controller is a piece of shit.
I agree with Josh. Are they seriously going to release it with N64 controllers? Oh, well, at least you could probably plug in one of those Bluetooth adapters and use a real controller.
Yeah, I'll probably get it.
What would be on it, Elliot?
Not a lot. If it's only first-party games, it would be
Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask,
Jet
Jet Set Radio, Jet Force Gemini, and like
Wave Race.
Yeah, Wave Race. Yeah,
F-Zero 64,
F-Zero,
Mario
Pilot
Kart
Wings,
Double Dash,
and
Mario Kart for sure.
And hopefully Quest 64.
Oh God,
I don't even know what that means.
It's a really shitty RPG for the.
It's a really shitty, yeah. Divinity 2, Divinity 2,
Definitive Edition would be good, actually.
It would have been. Divinity 2 Definitive Edition announced.
I can't wait because I've started playing the original one and I made okay progress, not a lot of progress, but I love the Divinity series and the enhanced edition for the original one was great. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'll put my current playthrough on hold.
I think it's really cool, and as always, they're giving it free to PC players.
I love you, Larian.
Yeah, Larian are amazing. And as always, I say to myself, why haven't I played a fucking Divinity game yet? Disgrace.
Well, the other Divinity games are but the original Sin ones are ace. Oh.
Yeah, I still got to play. This makes me want to play mine.
You and Steve-O should do it.
I know. We started to. Don't know what happened.
You suck.
I think we spent all night just like getting our characters set up, and then
we need to get you guys to get the streaming right. There's been an issue.
That was the problem. Yeah, we couldn't get it streaming. If you can work that out, Josh, then
all right,
we're all about it.
All right, I'll figure it out and we'll get it going.
Yeah. There's actually something happened with my formatting when I put that.
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley multiplayer and Vita released.
Oh. Oh my God. I've put so many hours on Stardew Valley. It's a game I never ever thought I would love, but I love it. It is so fucking good. I have it on PS4, which means I also have it on Vita. So but whatever version you guys want to play, if you want to play multiplayer, please let me know and I will play. I love it. It's so good.
Okay. That was a good sentence, Josh.
A lot of commas in there.
Yeah. I've already got it on Switch, so.
Oh, nice.
I have it on Switch too, so let's go.
So I'm interested in doing some multiplayer with Josh.
Well, this is again a game that I've never played anything like and never had an interest. But now that it's coming to PlayStation Vita.
But it's like I've never had any interest in this sort of game, and I loved it so much. So I'm hoping the same thing happens with you.
I'll give it a go. Once it's on sale on the Vita for the first time, I'll pick it up.
All right.
So I think that wraps up the news. And we have a roulette to do.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We do a backlog roulette. So last time I ended up picking up Borderlands 2 for everybody. And again, that's going to be kind of an ongoing thing. I was not expecting us to finish it or anything because it's a long game. But Elliot had picked Rhyme before, and Steve-O had picked Oxenfree.
How long has Rhyme been on there? Jesus Christ.
My shit's been picked twice in a row, so yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So I'll pick another one now, and I'm going with Beyond Two Souls since it was a PS Plus game.
Good call. It's probably going to be a good chat, good spoiler chat too.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens here. If we roll a 1, we'll get Beyond Two Souls. If we roll 2, we'll get Rhyme, and if we roll 3, we'll get Oxenfree. I'll be honest, the only one of those I don't care about that much is Rhyme, but I'll play it if it's roll. So
we'll see.
All right, let's see what we get. All right, we're playing Oxenfree. Okay, I was actually looking forward to Oxenfree here. So.
I'm opening my Switch up again.
Yeah, me too. Do we all have it on Switch?
I think I have mine on PS4, maybe.
I think I have it on both. I think I picked it up for like $5.
I don't think I have it on Switch. I can't remember what else I have it on, but I do have it. So, all right,
good stuff. Looking forward to that. We need a good old story-based game to have a good chat around.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
So, like Steve-O did last episode, I kind of want to do a backlog roulette for myself, just because. I don't know. I've got a bunch of games to play, and I just want to see what you guys think, or however RNG decides rather what I end up playing, because I've been playing.
I've got an idea. Do you want to play Final Fantasy X for me?
I've already beaten it like twice or 3 times, so no, I'm good, thanks.
I'm just teasing.
No, you're not. All right, so here's a few games that I want to play. I want to go back and start playing State of Decay. State of Decay 2 came out recently, and it's kind of piqued my interest again. I started playing State of Decay 1 a while back. I played for about like 6 hours, 7 hours, something like that, and I had a good time with it. I just never got around to finishing it or anything. Then I've got Legend of Heroes: Trails in the Sky 2. I talked Trails in the Sky 1 a long time back. Had a lot of fun with it, but it's definitely an incomplete story, and I would like to complete it. And then the other one is Far Cry 2. I played a fair amount of the first Far Cry. I've tried Far Cry 3 a bit, but Far Cry 2, I think, kind of fits in that middle ground where you're not just going to a million icons like Far Cry 3 and whatnot on the map, and the original Far Cry, which is just kind of random exploration until you find shit. So,
Far Cry 2, a bit of a cult classic.
Yeah, I've heard good things. I've also heard horrible things because I know there's like respawning enemies and shit, but I still kind of want to give it a try.
Oh, and weapon misfiring.
So
weapon damage.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes, but I kind of
weapon breakage.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, but I kind of want to give it a shot. So if I roll a 1, we'll do State of Decay 2, Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky 2, and a 3, Far Cry 2. So let's see what we get here. I guess I'm playing Far Cry 2 then. All right.
Oh man, this is gonna be interesting. Maybe I'll boot it up too.
I kind of want to play that now too.
All right, I'm gonna go install this thing for now. But I guess for the podcast though, Elliot, take us away.
Yeah, that'll wrap us up. This has been Rather Be Playing episode 27. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks. In the meantime, you can catch us at our website, ratherbecast.com. We're on Twitter at RBPcast is for the main podcast. And then we have our own Twitter feeds at RBP Josh, at RBP Stevo, at RBP Elliot. We are streaming games at twitch.tv/ratherbyplaying, and we put the videos and all our podcast episodes on our YouTube channel as well. We have a Facebook page, so you can check us out there. And is that everything?
Yeah, I think that covers it.
If you have questions like Spider, you can email us at questions@ratherbecast.com, and we will read them on the air.
Great.
Good work.
All right, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care.
Yeah. Play all your games, especially if they're on PlayStation Vita. Easy for me to say.
Play your games because they won't play themselves.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheerio now.